right, this is actually, this is the last part of the portfolio. I'm gonna go ahead and divide it into two sections just because it'll be easier that way. So there will be two videos. All right, so you're gonna log on to College Board. As always, go to My AP Classroom. Let it load. Continue to My AP. Scroll down. AP 2D Art and Design. Click Go to Digital Portfolio. Like I said, this is the last section, so you are going to be writing, okay? The last section is actually part of the Sustain Investigation, so you're going to click Sustain Investigation. You should have all your images and captions done. At this point, you need to be clicking Written Evidence, so go to Written Evidence. You will see two boxes. This is where you will write your 2 paragraphs to explain your artworks. So the first question you're going to answer is this: identify the inquiry that guided your sustained investigation. You must write a maximum of 600 characters. Can you write less? Yes. Number 2, describe ways your sustained investigation developed through practice, experimentation, and revision. Now, you might be looking at this and you might be thinking, what the heck does... So you are welcome to follow along. There should be a printed PowerPoint. Unfortunately, it is in black and white. So here is the colored version. Now, I'm going to show you what you need to write for the first paragraph. So as you can see here, go back. Let me tell you how this slideshow is organized. So on the left, you're going to have what you need to write for paragraph 1. And I went ahead and broke the paragraph down into smaller questions. So these are the 3 questions you will go ahead and answer for paragraph 1. On the right side, you're going to go ahead and see an example and it's color coded. Same thing for the second paragraph. You're going to go ahead and see the question broken down into 3 smaller questions. And of course, on the right side, you will see the example that is color coded. You will see for slide 8 another example that has been color coded and underlined. Number 2, this is taken from the College Board website, and then the next example number 3, is also been taken. Actually, this one has been taken from the College Board website. Example 2 has been taken from a portfolio from last year, and this student received a 4, so they did a pretty good job. This is going to show you the word bank. These are words you are encouraged to include in your writing. Just remember that if you use one of these words, you're going to go ahead and capitalize it so your grader can see those vocab words and you can get more points. The last slide, the last page, is going to go ahead and give you the sentence stems. If you really need them, they are going to be found on the right side right here if you need it. All right, let's go back. So the first question you're going to answer is, what inquiry questions guided your work? And you're going to list the 3 questions. So go ahead and type them in right here in the first box. You should have those inquiry questions written in your sketchbook. Go ahead and write them down. After you have typed those questions out, you're going to go ahead and do the second question. Give us a quick overview of the formal elements in your sustained investigation. Now, what do I mean by formal elements? Well, if you look back to your notes to the beginning of your sketchbook, the beginning of the year, I think there should be, starting in page 4 all the way to maybe 10 or something like that, but it's definitely at the beginning of your sketchbook. The formal elements are the elements, and they're in your word bank, like line, color, shape, texture, form, space. You can also talk about the principles of design. You can mention proportion, emphasis, movement, pattern, rhythm or movement, variety, unity, contrast, balance, etc., etc. You can definitely mention those things for the second part of the first paragraph. Now, what do I mean by a quick overview of your formal elements? You are going to explain how your artistic choices affected the artwork. So here is an example, right? So they wrote, in my sustained investigation, I created a strong visual impact and foreboding atmosphere through the spatial depth constructed by the chaotic lines, lower saturated colors, and distorted figures. So they have a cause and they have an effect in this sentence. What is the cause? Well, what is their artistic choices? Well, the artist, the student, used chaotic lines, lower saturated colors, and distorted figures. That was the artistic choice. That was the formal elements that they're using. That is the cause. What is the effect? Well, because they use the chaotic lines, the saturated colors, and the distorted figures, the effect is that creation of a strong visual impact and foreboding atmosphere. So let me give you another example. I'm gonna go to this one right here. Again, this one was my student and they received a 4. We're gonna look at number 2, so that's the blue and it's color coded right here. So they wrote, I express the concepts, what concepts? The concept of abuse and violence, animal violence, through the use of the colors red and black and violent drawings to highlight the cruelty. So what was their artistic choice, or what was the cause? The cause was the use of color red and black. The cause was also the violent drawings. What is the effect? The effect is that it shows the cruelty and the concepts of animal abuse and violence. If you want, we can check another example. This one was from the College Board website. This one says, to develop my personal progression, and I'm looking at the blue one, the artwork is arranged chronologically from the past 3 years of my life. The meanings become more personal to me as time goes on. So what was the cause? What was the artistic choice? The artistic choice was the student putting the artworks in chronological order from the past 3 years of their life. That was the cause. And because they did that, what is the effect? Well, the effect is that the meanings of the artworks became more personal. And again, it's showing the personal progression. It's showing the time over, sorry, the change over time. So you are going to look at your artworks as a whole, figure out what they kind of have in common, and you're going to explain how those choices you made in your artworks affect the artworks. What message does it send off? Did you use the color red in all your artworks? What does that show in the artwork? Did you use black, again, white? What does that show in an artwork? Did you use watercolor? What does that show in an artwork? How does that explain your message? So after you have done that, the next thing you would do is provide a little bit of background information or explanations of your, or explain your theme. So we're gonna go to this example number 2. They wrote, my essay explores the themes of abuse and violence in relation with animals. So what they did was they gave us the definition of the theme, or they explained what the theme was, and it's just simply a sentence. This is also a good time to explain your theme. If it's really complicated, like if it's about I don't know, some weird, obscure time in a historic period, well, you're gonna have to explain that a little bit of the background information from that historic period. If you are doing it based on a specific culture, maybe you should explain a little bit about that culture in at least a sentence or two, so the people grading will know what you're talking about. So for the third part of your paragraph, you're going to go ahead and insert a little bit of background information. Maybe you need to define your theme because we don't know what it is, or the readers might not know what it is. You can also talk about where your inquiry came from, and the sentence stem you can use is, my essay explores or examines the themes of blank, blank, and blank. If you only have 2 themes, that's fine. You can put those 2 themes. If you have 3 themes, even better. Now, you might also notice that I put these 3 questions in order, but the students, not all of them, they didn't really answer the questions in order, and that is okay. The order you answer the questions in doesn't really matter. You just need to answer them. So after you're done with paragraph 1, make sure you, of course, have typed it on College Board, and make sure you save. After that's done, you can then move on to the second paragraph. So the second video is going to show you the second paragraph.